Flora Lee. I was born here in Sioux City, Iowa. Do you want the year?
I want the year.
1953. I was retired. I worked at Northwest AEA as a special education consultant and also a professional developer. Typical day was I wanted to stay in bed till 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock and watch Matlock. And I did that, and I continued to do it, and then I think March is when COVID hit, when everything shut down. And I remember the day that it shut down. Every Tuesday, I would have lunch with a group of people that I had worked with or met within the community. And that day, only 3 of us could meet. And so we all went at 11:30, and at 12 o'clock, Famous Dave said, "We're closing. You are our last customers of the day." My friend Mark, my other friend Mark, he gets on his phone, and the governor had shut everything down. And I think it was the day before St. Patrick's Day. And I didn't see these people until it became warm outside. And we met at someone's house in their backyard, and we sat 6 feet apart from one another. Then a year later, my father-in-law passed away, and he was my friend. I love him and I miss him dearly. I think he willed himself to death because of COVID. I think he got really lonely because he was living alone and he had stopped going out. The service was done virtual, and that was the first time I ever attended a virtual homegoing service. It was lonely. I was lonely. I just, my husband had passed in 17. So, I didn't realize how lonely I was because I was still working, and I had friends. They were always calling, and I was always doing, before COVID. I was not only alone without a spouse who I had been with forever, I was just alone, and where did I fit? Where did I fit? Because I no longer was Flora Lee the consultant, and so that job was over with. And I wasn't Flora Lee the wife. I was still Flora the mother, but who am I, And so it's been a rediscovery for me with all of this happening. I don't know. Still figuring it out. I'll tell you, one of the things that happened, because I didn't talk to anyone, I lost my ability to really speak. I mean, I could talk, but I couldn't find words. I didn't seem coherent. My intellect wasn't stimulated. If you're watching Matlock, how stimulated are you going to be? But trying to find someone to feed my spiritual soul, just not having that spiritual bread. And that's been difficult too. Sometimes I just don't feel like I've gotten anything, because I think for me, and I think a lot, I'm gonna just say for Black churches, it's also the fellowship, being present with someone, and the music. And even though they have music, you participate when the choir sings. You are part of the choir even though you're sitting in the congregation, and then you see your friends that you haven't seen all week, to get some love and some hugs, and all that went away. Well, I started this when my husband passed. Every morning I always text my kids, "Good morning," and it's usually the same message. I copy and paste it sometimes, but anyway. And one time I forgot, I always put a heart in the infinity sign, and one day I forgot to put the infinity sign, and Trenton texted me and said, "Hey, where's the infinity sign?" So I always make sure I have that on there. What else is there to do? Watch Matlock and eat.
Support for Facing a Changed World an oral history of the COVID-19 pandemic, comes from the Margaret Ann Martin Everest Foundation, the Kind World Foundation, Humanities Iowa, the Friends of Siouxland Public Media, and listeners like you.